This is the first bracelet in the series of friendship bracelets that I'm going to be showing. This one is going to be just a really simple 2-stranded bracelet, and it's going to show you the basic knot that you'll need for all the other friendship bracelet tutorials that I'll be sharing in the future. We're going to be doing, the end result is going to look a little bit like this. It's going to have this really cool spiral texture to it, or spiral pattern. This one is actually a 6-stranded bracelet, so it'll be a little thinner, but it's going to be the same basic look, and it uses the same basic stitch as I used for this one. So what you want to do is you'll want to pick 2 colors. If you want to just try it out, you can definitely use just one. You'll just need 2 strands of that one color. You'll want to cut your thread, or cut your string, and you want it to be relatively long. I usually just use my arm to measure. I'll do like an arm length or an arm and a half. You want to go, I generally say with friendship bracelets, like you want it to be a little bit longer rather than shorter, because you don't want to get halfway through a really cool bracelet and then find you don't have enough string. But yeah, if you do like an arm or an arm and a half for this one, you'll be fine. So you'll take the 2 colors, whatever you've chosen, or your 2 strings, and bundle them together as one, and you make a basic knot to get started. And you want to pull it tight and leave enough of a tail on the end so that you'll have enough room to tie it onto your wrist once you're finished. If you do it too short where you're just not going to be able to make a knot, then you're not going to be able to use your bracelet, except for maybe as a bookmark. So once you have that ready, you just want to take a little bit of tape. I'm going to be using Scotch tape today because that's what I have. But you can also use masking tape or whatever is going to secure your bracelet down. I'm going to move it up a little bit. Right. Let's put it up here. So once you have it taped down, you just want to choose what color you want to start with. So we'll start with the green today. And so the green is what we're going to be knotting with, and the gold is what we'll be knotting on. Usually I just hold the 2 strings in my hand when I get going. But to start out, if it's easier for you, you can actually take another little piece of tape and give this a little bit of slack, but you can tape it down, and that'll keep it in place. So the basic stitch is really simple. You basically make the shape of a 4 with your string, with the green on top of the gold. Then you'll flip the gold, or sorry, flip the green under the gold and through the hole that you made there, and pull it through. And that just makes a really simple knot, and you just pull that up all the way to the top and make it tight, and then you do it again. Make the shape of 4, flip the green under the gold so it's flipped through, and then pull it to the top and pull it tight. One more time. So you make the shape of a 4, flip that green or whatever you're knotting with under the one that you're knotting onto, flip it through the hole of that 4, and then pull it tight. And you'll notice that as you go, and perhaps you can, it's hard to see, I think it's a bit small, but the knots tend to curl around, and so that's actually how the spiral gets formed. And there are 2 ways to do it. You can either sort of say, okay, when it gets over to the right, I know that how it sort of looks, or you can say, I'm going to count, and I think I did 3 or 4 knots. So you could say, okay, I'm going to do 3 or 4 knots, and then I'm going to flip it under. So basically, to keep that spiral going, you want to take the green and simply just pass it under the gold. Take the one that you're knotting with and pass it under the string that you're knotting onto. And then you pick it up and you just do the same exact thing. Make that 4, flip the green under, and pull up. And you just keep going that way. And so you can see the string right now kind of leans to the left, and eventually as you keep going, the knots move their own way around the gold string, and well, eventually this, you can now see that the string moves over to the right. So I'm not really counting now, I'm just sort of saying, once it gets over to the right, I'm just going to flip it under, and then keep going with your knots. So again, you're making the shape of a 4, taking that green, flipping it under the gold and through the hole, and then pulling up for a tight knot. And you keep going with it. And you can keep going with it as long as you want. You can make the whole thing green, or if you want to switch, that's really easy. You literally just switch the ones that you're using. So now the green becomes the one that you're knotting onto, the gold becomes the one that you're knotting with, and so you make the shape of the 4 with the gold, flip it under the green and through that hole, and pull the knot tight. And that string is going to do the same thing. It's going to have that tendency of curling around. And once it does, you can just flip it under, basically flip it around, and keep going. And so you can see that I've been doing this a lot, so I'm used to just holding the strings, and once you get used to it, you can really go quite a bit faster. So I'm over on the right again, so I'm going to just flip it around. And just to show you a little bit slower how I do it, basically hold the green in my hand, in my left hand, hold the gold with my right, cross them over, flip that gold under the green and through that hole that they make, and then pull it tight and just keep going. And that is the most basic of all the knots. And you can see it's very easy, and it really is the basic knot that you'll be using if you want to look at all the other tutorials that I'll be sharing. They're all going to use that basic knot with different patterns. But this is it's really not difficult. It just takes a little patience. Sometimes they take a little while, but you will, as you do them, you'll get faster, and, just keep the knots tight and keep that spiral going by flipping it under. And in no time, you'll have a really awesome friendship bracelet, either for yourself or a friend. So I'll pull this up so you can see what we've done. So you can see you get that spiral going already just after a little bit of work. And when you come to the end of the bracelet, and usually I'll just take it and actually measure, if I'm doing it for myself, I'll just measure it on my wrist. And obviously this is quite short, but just for the demonstration purposes, when you are done, when you have it long enough, you'll again take those 2 as one and make a knot. Take those 2 strings as one string. And then I just try to get that knot as close to the base of, well, I didn't do very good. Okay, that's not what I do. Let me do it again. Try to get a knot as close to the base of where you finished your bracelet as possible. There you go, that's better. So then you'll have a nice length of cord that you've created, and you can just wrap it around your wrist and then do another knot to tie it on, and it should last pretty well. And you can either keep it on forever and never take it off like my nieces, or you can flip it off and on as you want. So yeah, that's the very basic bracelet, and I'll be showing you a few more of my favorites in the next videos, so keep an eye out for that. And thanks for watching. I really hope that you're inspired to try this, and if you do, please let me know. I'd even love to see pictures. And yeah, thanks for watching. Look for the next videos. Thanks.